No.
Yeah. All right. And we're live. So welcome everyone to Quarencon Cubed. Tonight we have the exceedingly talented Lisa Cassidy with us, who is launching just today the latest and last book in her Tale of Stars and Shadow series, of which the first book is a tale of sorry, now I'm doing the mute thing, is a tale of stars and shadow. And thank you, Lisa, so much for joining me. I really appreciate having you here in the morning, the AM of you're near Canberra, right? Or
yes, yep,
yeah.
Canberra.
Yeah,
Canberra. Thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
Yeah. So many fun things to talk about. Before we start with anything else, though, I just want to say happy book birthday, because that's always exciting. New book is born today. Yay! And congratulations on finishing a freaking series. That is always a huge relief, I think.
Yes.
I say always. I've only done it once, but like the one time I did it, it was really great. But yeah. How's it feel?
It feels really good. We were just chatting earlier. I was saying in some ways it's a little bit anticlimactic because I've kind of finished it a little while ago and I'm already deep into a brand new project, so it feels like it's a bit behind me. But at the same time, it's super exciting to know that it's now finished and out in the world. And this particular final book was probably the hardest of the four to write and to get right in the end. So it's nice to have it done, and hopefully everyone likes it.
Yeah, endings are always rough, man. Like.
This one in particular, just getting everything to land properly in a way that readers are going to enjoy. It's not easy.
It's never easy. Well, good job if you accomplish that. That is a serious accomplishment. It looks like we have two people with us here. We have Misty 306, who comes to everything. Hello. Also, she's known as Aqua Venatus on other platforms. My gosh, I can't even keep track. But hey, Misty, and also AF Stewart is with us. Hey, AF. So hello to everyone who's currently live. Oh, and there are 3 other people who are also watching, lurking in the background and not saying hello. So hi to you people. Thanks everyone for being here. And we're gonna do what I always do, which is ask some questions that have absolutely nothing to do with writing or less to do with writing, maybe only tangentially related to writing. And then we're gonna move on to some writing related questions. I'll have to say, Lisa, yours was a hard one because you have a very limited social profile. And so even though we are friends and I should be able to stalk you online, I couldn't. It was very difficult. It's really hard to dig up some dirt. And by dirt, I mean interesting photos.
Absolutely.
But they just weren't there. There's it's just you being an author. Like selling books, looking all innocent and normal, and I was sorely disappointed.
No skeletons in this closet.
So so I just had to think back to previous conversations we had and start just thinking the things that we've talked about before and what do I know about Lisa. And the truth is that my brain is such a sieve that even what I know about you, it's hard. I can't recall anything I know about anyone. I can barely remember most of the time. So
look, you've got my name down. That's pretty good.
Right. Yes. For now, watch me call you something else later. Right. Yeah. I forget who I called. I called someone my daughter's name yesterday. I can't remember who, but it was definitely not my daughter. I just called them Peter, and then they were like, I cannot word. If I do, it's all typey, and then if I have to actually speak to someone, it's gone. But we'll get right into the important questions with what little I was able to conjure from my brain and what little was available online, and our conversations. I do know that you're a coffee fan.
Yes.
As am I.
I'd even say coffee snob, probably.
Yeah. All right.
Really,
good.
Yeah.
So we're on a similar page then. And actually, so I'm going to branch out with this. I'm going to make this a multi-layered coffee question, because the question that I sent you is one question, right? But I've got a couple other questions if we're getting into coffee snobbery. And actually, the one I want to start with is, where Where will you never buy coffee from? Never.
See, that's the coffee is like utterly essential daily, right? So if I had literally nowhere else to go, there's nowhere I wouldn't go if there weren't any other options. Like, for example, McDonald's coffee. Like, I would avoid like the plague. But if I'm on a road trip and there's like nowhere else to stop but like the Macca's, then
you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. I don't know about in Australia, but in North America, McDonald's coffee has actually significantly improved in the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be like dirty dishwater, but it now actually tastes like coffee. I still wouldn't call it, particularly good coffee, but it's way better than truck stop coffee, which really still continues to taste like dirty dishwater.
Right. Okay. They've definitely made some attempts to improve, right? Like they're using, espresso machines and whatnot now, rather than probably what was actually dishwater.
Right, exactly. Like, well, we're done with this, so let's put it in the coffee machine. Yeah. Okay, so there's no place that you would never go for coffee.
No, because that's like
because you have to have coffee.
I need my daily coffee.
That's fair.
So I'll plunge to low heights if I need to. But
okay, where would you prefer to avoid then? Like, what are the places like you live in a city that has many coffee options, and so when you're not on the road, what is the place that you will not go to for coffee?
I still go like any fast food kind of place that pretends to do coffee. Right. Anything that does instant, I'm not touching instant coffee. That's not real coffee. So don't give me a cup of instant coffee. So anywhere that doesn't have an espresso machine, that's off the list straight away.
How do you feel about Keurigs?
In a pinch it'll do. But
preferably not. Yeah.
Same with filter coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got caffeine, it'll do, but gotta be espresso.
Right.
And not only espresso, but like freshly ground beans. So like when I make my coffee at home, I grind the beans, then espresso.
Very good. Okay, so now that gets us into what was actually the first question on the list was, what is your preferred method of coffee preparation and why? So I think we've started in there already.
Yeah,
but
circled in on that. Do
you roast your own?
No, but there's a couple of actually local Canberra roasters that are absolutely amazing. I've got two favorites, Lonsdale Roasters and O&A.
Yeah.
So I buy their beans locally and grind them fresh.
Nice.
Run it through the espresso machine.
Nice. So when we get together, the DNF this crew, when we get together, you and I will be providing coffee for everyone else. Good.
And hopefully Rob will be providing the Irish whiskey to put in it. Right?
I would assume. I mean, ideally, we're getting together in his not yet created, but soon to be in existence, maybe Irish pub that will have, I would like a fantastic selection of Irish whiskey.
Yes.
And then we'll make coffee.
Yeah, that is the plan.
We'll make coffee. I'll bring the AeroPress just in case nobody wants to bring an espresso machine.
Okay, I can bring mine. Probably.
Yeah. All right.
Borrow one. Yeah.
Borrow one. Yeah. I can't imagine traveling with an espresso machine.
Yeah. It would be difficult. Airline luggage weight requirements might be an option.
That's pretty extra. Just like
I just carry this.
I brought my espresso machine.
Anyone want a coffee?
Start making them for the whole flight crew. You would be very popular on the plane.
It's true. I might even get upgraded to first class. Hey, there's a bullet.
You might. Or they just turn you into a flight attendant. They'd hire you on the spot. Be like, all right, you are now our barista.
300 people you can start making coffee for.
Yeah, go. What could go wrong? Nice. Okay, so that's good. I'm glad we have that covered. I don't own an espresso machine. So I use the poor woman's espresso machine, which is the AeroPress, which is like
I would consider that the next tier down. If you can't get espresso, then the AeroPress is not bad at all.
It is the closest you can get in terms of pressure to an espresso machine without buying that. I recently saw a Kickstarter for like a travel espresso thing. There's like a pocket and it has a vacuum pump seal thing, and then And I was sorely tempted because I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Because it kicks you up into the actual espresso machine level of pressure instead of the AeroPress, which is just below that. So I was like, maybe as a cool birthday present for my husband, because we're both coffee.
Present list.
So, yeah. But I think the Kickstarter is done by now. But presumably that went into production. I don't know if COVID ruined it or whatever. I can't remember when I even saw that. Time has no meaning anymore. So
no.
But anyway, I asked that question because it is, I think, it's an important personal question, although I fully respect people who don't drink coffee. I didn't drink coffee for ages. Used to absolutely destroy my stomach, but somehow doesn't anymore. But a weird shift in biology. Anyway, but I feel like, once you know how someone feels about their coffee.
Yeah, it's a deep insight into their soul.
That's right. How do you take your coffee? There's another question.
Black with 1 sugar.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cheers.
So I'm lactose intolerant, so no milk for me. And then I very quickly acquired the taste of just having it straight black, which is probably a bit more why I'm a snob, because the flavors so
matters.
Much more
Yes.
apparent, not filling it with milk. So
exactly. The only time I take milk in my coffee is when it's bad coffee. If you're gonna drink diner coffee or McDonald's coffee, the way to make it more palatable is to put milk in it. It helps. Meanwhile, I drink coffee that I meant to be drinking, coffee that is like my top choice coffee, black, like my soul. Yeah. So, okay. So that covers the first coffee volley.
The personality insight number 1.
Yeah, that's it. Really, that's the deepest. I don't think anybody needs to know anything else about a person, really. Misty has been agreeing with a lot of our coffee points, and she admits that McDonald's coffee has gotten better, and also 7-Eleven's coffee still tastes a bit better than McDonald's. Really, I haven't had 7-Eleven coffee in probably 20 years, so I wouldn't know.
I don't know that I've ever had it.
It wasn't the time I consumed the most like food from 7-Eleven was when I lived in Japan, and when I was there I didn't really drink coffee, and they had like a bajillion other cool drinks to have instead. But Misty says that when I lived in Louisiana, I drank Community Coffee. I still order their products online. They always have sales. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good. And Magnus Borson says, I like the mouthfeel of milk coffee, but taste-wise, black tends to be better. That's fair. It does it. There's a nice satiny texture to milk.
Yeah, it's like a warm, rich kind of
Yeah. I usually actually like to use cream or half and half for that reason, too. It's like a nice thick. But I feel like it's a different experience. There's like there's like black coffee, and then there's like a milked coffee, and that's like they are different drinks.
I agree.
But there we go. So we've really gotten into it. All right. Now then, the next question is not directly related, but we're back to slightly more bookish topics. When was the last time? Because we're in the end times here, not the end times. We're in the pandemic, but there's a global pandemic. When was the last time that you sold books in person? I'm curious.
That was, I think it was the launch for A Tale of Stars and Shadow, which was June last year. So one of the local bookstores here hosted a launch. We did fantasy bingo, which was fun. So that was like a year ago. It's been wow. Yeah.
That is.
And I probably would have done a launch for this final book release, but COVID killed that.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a bummer. I haven't even thought about the fact that like I would normally I'm hoping to release a book in February, and like it'd be nice to do an in-person launch, but probably not going to happen even by February. So that's a bummer. Oh man, you released this series really quickly. Like, did you pre-write I know you didn't completely pre-write the series because I know you were still working on book 4 earlier this year.
Yeah.
Or at least late 2019. What like how tell me more about that.
The 2 series that I've published so far, my YA series and this one, were books that I'd written years ago. So I started probably when I was like early 20s. And so when I came around to deciding to do the whole self-publishing thing, they were already kind of written, at least in draft, very raw draft format. Okay. So it wasn't a matter of having to write them all from scratch. They were kind of there, and they just needed kind of a lot of work to do. So by the time I kind of started on A Tale of Stars and Shadow and got that kind of out and published, the rest were just a matter of kind of editing and working and retweaking rather than kind of having to do from scratch. So it's much faster, I guess, to work through. And then because I'm a pantser, I don't start publishing until I'm finished with the series, because otherwise there's too much danger.
Which you might have to fix, yeah.
So they are kind of all at least ready to go, at least in first draft form, until I start publishing. And once I start publishing, so it comes out much faster.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Because I was wondering if you'd like pulled a Rob Hayes, or if you'd sorry, Rob J. Hayes. He recently complained about the J getting dropped in his name. That was a Twitter thing. But gotta tease Hat Rob. But you pulled a Hat Rob, and like I was like, oh, you just like knocked those out of nowhere. Because I think I hadn't really been paying attention to, like, you know, everyone's publication dates and stuff. And then I made the hoodie behind you, and I was like, and on the back we've got a concert style list of all of our books and when they came out, right? So then I looked into everybody's publication dates, and then I looked at yours, and I was like, wait, A Tale of Stars and Shadow came out in June of this year, but like, isn't she on book 3 already? Like, and so I was like, man, that's fast. Good job. Anyway.
Yeah. So, not quite the rapid release of Harold earlier this year.
Not quite.
But yeah.
Not quite. Yeah. But he had a very specific plan in mind when he did that. And it sounds like you did too, but you still had to finish up revisions and stuff. Whereas I think he doesn't release anything until he's like 100% done with everything.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting way to go. It's probably like it would just mean a longer break, I guess, between series. But then once you had them, you could just get them out. I think there are definitely benefits to it that way.
He also seems to turn out words, right? Like, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's up with it?
I think it's the Beagle. It's got to be the Beagle.
Definitely the Beagle. Definitely the Beagle.
Clearly a muse. Yeah, exactly. Beagle muse. All right. So you've finished a series. Today is a happy book birthday day. How do you celebrate? What is your favorite way to celebrate any publishing success?
So it's pretty low key. I just like to get together with close friends, family, and like do a nice dinner, a glass of wine, and just kind of sit around and chat. You've probably worked this out already, but I'm pretty introverted, so big things aren't my style. But just getting to the closest friends that really support me the whole way through all this, and I've got some really amazing friends that do that.
That's awesome.
Being with them and having a glass of wine, and usually Italian food's my favorite.
Awesome, solid. And what? So like you've had a few successes sort of back to back lately. Like you just had a book bub, super exciting. A Tale of Stars and Shadow. It was A Tale of Stars and Shadow, right? And they got the book bub. So it was like #1 in a bunch of stores: the Canada store, the Australian store. Was it also in the UK?
No, I think I hit #2 in a few different categories in the UK. You knock off Terry Pratchett.
So close, Rowling. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know.
No, I think I got ahead of Rowling.
Oh, you did? Nice.
It was Terry Pratchett that held me down at #2.
Oh, well, you know what? You can't even be mad. Sir Terry, just like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna be mad at a sweet old dead dude, right? Like he's who's also like one of my favorite authors of all time. I still adore his stuff. Yeah. I think that was the first celebrity death that I cried about. Like I legit shed tears for Terry Pratchett. Also because Alzheimer's hit very close to home, right? But I was very, very sad when Sir Terry passed away.
But it's wonderful that his stuff is still like people are still reading it, and it's
it's so great. Sorry, there's a random morbid turn. But yeah, so we were actually talking about success of A Tale of Stars and Shadows, not the deaths of anyone, let alone Terry Pratchett. Yeah. But yeah, so that is really cool. So you celebrated that, I hope.
Yes.
Okay. And now are you doing another celebration tonight to be like, yay, finished series, new book?
Family. So, because technically, like it's the 10th in Australia, so the book's out today here, but for the rest of the world, it'll be kind of tomorrow your time. So,
yeah.
And it's Friday, so tomorrow night we're gonna have a family dinner and yes.
Awesome. Well, tomorrow night we will raise a glass in your honor.
Please do.
Or tomorrow morning I will have a coffee in your honor. We'll hoist a black coffee in your honor.
Yep.
Sorry, we have some more comments showing up over here now. Magnus Borson is on a tear lately. He says Pantsers will inherit the earth. I assume Magnus is.
Yes.
I am actually doing something similar. Should I ever decide to publish? I have 6 books that just need an edit and tweaking. Sweet.
That's brilliant.
And losing Terry Pratchett will always hurt. Yeah, that is true. Always true. Yeah, and I'm like, well, I don't want to go back to the sad topic. We're gonna keep going. All right, so we've talked about the really key things. We've talked about coffee. Now the next really key thing we're going to talk about is pets. Do you have any pets of any kind?
I do not.
You do not. 0 pets. No lizards. No birds. No collection of tapeworms.
I had goldfish when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Goldfish. I had a goldfish named Pirate. Lived for quite a long time.
That's awesome.
Yes. But I was allergic as a kid. Actually, the whole family was allergic to. I was desperate to have a dog when I was a kid, but just all allergic.
Snakes, iguanas. I feel like you should be embracing the reptiles if you've got allergies.
I really should. Yeah.
I thought I was gonna push buy animals, Lisa. Come on. Why don't you? Sorry. I don't know why I'm harping on that, but I love pets so much, but I always wanted an iguana.
Right. Okay. That would be a cool pet.
Really badly as a kid, and my mom hated reptiles, and so she was not going to let me have an iguana ever. But I got to have cats and dogs instead. So
I feel like having like a hunting falcon would be amazing. Like
you'd have to actually like properly learn.
Yes. And probably, live on a property.
That'd be amazing.
That would be my idea.
Okay, sweet. I love everything about that answer. Okay, so I'm waiting for you to show us some pictures of your new falcon soon. Okay. In the next couple of weeks. As a present to yourself for having finished A Tale of Stars and Shadow, I think it's actually only appropriate that you get yourself a raptor of some kind.
Right.
Falcon,
yes. Most definitely.
Yeah. Or a Shadowhawk.
Well, actually, in theme with the character that comes in book 2 of the series, actually, would be a great pet for me to have.
Oh, sorry, a which?
A panther.
A panther? Nice.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Any of those things sound awesome. Also dangerous, and most of them not to be had as pets.
I probably would never have one, but just in the world.
It's a good thought, though. It's a good thought. I just realized it has now gotten completely dark where I am, and I have to close the curtains, or else I'm basically just on TV for everyone walking past. Doop de doop. So pardon my chin as I close the curtains and sit back down. Should not affect the lighting at all because there was no light left outside. Okay, so maybe no pets. Totally fair.
Yes.
Would you have another fish again? Is that something that interests you, or are you just like rather not deal with having a living thing to take care of?
No, I'd love to have a pet. My main obstacle right now is time. I don't have like juggling the writing thing in the day job, and the amount of time I'd have to properly devote to an animal probably wouldn't be fair to the animal.
That's
yeah. One day when I'm as Rob keeps saying in the chat, when we're all millionaire full-time authors, I will definitely probably have a dog or a cat, although, and the hunting. Yeah.
Nice. Does that mean your allergies have gone away?
Yeah. So interestingly, so I grew up in Melbourne. Moving to Canberra, whatever the change in the pollens or whatever it is in different type of terrain up here, allergies have vanished. So I haven't had.
Including your animal allergies?
Yeah, it's the weirdest.
Like I've definitely heard of seasonal allergies disappearing, but like an animal allergy disappearing at the same time because of a move, that's amazing. That's magic.
Certainly is.
I guess I need to move again.
Well, you're very welcome anytime.
I will give that a shot. Like honestly, I have no qualms about moving to Australia, and I would totally move to Canberra if it'll get rid of my allergies. I actually don't I never used to have seasonal allergies. I now do because I've finally lived in one place long enough to develop them.
Nice.
I used to, prior to Winnipeg, the longest I'd ever lived in one place was in Arizona when I was a little kid. We lived there for 7 years. And ever since then, it's been like max of 4 years and most often 2 or 3. And now I've been in Winnipeg for, this is 6 years. So, and now I have a seasonal allergy, like cursing. But I've had cat allergies for ages, since I was 12, and that has not gone away. And yeah, and it's like super problematic. And even though I love cats, I haven't had a cat in decades because they make my lungs close up. And I like breathing. I'm just
breathing is fun. You know, not having constantly running nose is fun too.
Yeah. So, yeah. AF Stewart mentions that you can lose allergies as you get older. I have heard that too. And also, I lost all my allergies during pregnancy. They got really worse. They got really bad at the beginning. They were like way worse for the first couple months. And then like in the middle towards the end of pregnancy, they went away. I was able to pet cats for a couple of months and it was great. And then they came roaring back once I stopped breastfeeding. So bodies are weird. Humans are weird.
Pregnant bodies, I imagine.
What?
Pregnant bodies in particular, I imagine.
Extra weird, like super weird, like being an alien weird. I guess more actually like having an alien inside of you weird, but pregnant bodies are very, very strange. So yeah, anyway, humans, we're strange places. All right. On to even more important topics. We've now talked about coffee, hugely important. Pets, also important. And I must say, I really appreciate you being very responsible, not having enough time for a pet and thus not having a pet. That's actually great. Thank you. Too many people don't have time for pets and get them anyway, and then poor pet. So I very much respect your stance on that. But now we're going to get into another in-depth personal topic. What would your ideal vacation be?
So it's I thought about this, and it didn't take long. It's quite specific. So like a mountain cabin on a mountain, surrounded by snow with an open fire, but it has to have Wi-Fi and an indoor toilet. Okay,
fair. That's pretty easy to accomplish these days, I think.
Yeah, it is. Airbnb.
Amazing. Is there a hot tub on the back deck at this cabin? Just asking.
Yeah, hot tub, it'd be desirable. A desk under like a window with a view of like the mountainside, also desirable, where I can find an espresso machine.
Yes. Well, I guess you could bring your own. That's to be your only luggage. You just don't pack anything else. You wear all your clothes. And you just have
just like up the hill.
Espresso machine and pretend it's a dog.
But I would totally do that.
And I would come visit you. Except you probably want to be alone, but I would. I just stay for like one day. You're there for like 3 weeks and just be like, hi, I just came to use the hot tub and hang out for a day, and then I'll disappear so you can write.
Bring the wine and you're in.
Deal. Sold. All right. I love it.
We should hire a cabin in the woods for all the DNF crew.
Yes.
Group hangout.
I like this plan. I like this plan a lot. Although apparently we're now going to have to play an actual physical game of Trust, because did you see that a fan of the War Eternal series made a 3D printed version of the game from Rob's book?
I did see that.
And that game is likely to turn us all against each other.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, like, so I don't know if we actually want to do that in a cabin in the woods. Is my point.
We just play charades.
Turns into a horror story really quickly. No, but that's a great idea. We should totally do that. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'll start looking for idyllic cabins for us to get together in right away. We have to pick a continent though. Like
Yeah, we do. And just make sure that Rob and Diane share a room.
Yeah. Are we bringing spouses on this or not?
I think we're being inclusive. Well, because that means Jan would come.
Yeah. And then chaos ensues as the in-person fight begins. I'm just kidding. Okay. Rob's going to watch this and be so pissed.
Yeah, I
know. All right. So, yeah, we could, I mean, do we bring families? Do we ditch families? We should probably do a 2-part trip.
Yeah, we do like one part for the families and then everyone goes away and we just write.
Exactly.
Group.
Yeah. Writing retreat. We'll pretend it's a writing retreat and not a drinking retreat.
Writing retreat.
It's a writing retreat. Yeah. Like cabin in the woods.
We can collaborate on a project.
Obviously. We're going to be working on our joint novel. So we're writing one sentence at a time. If I can ever send the thing that Levi sent out to the next person, I am just, yeah, we're not going to get into it. Okay. I'm so bad at putting things in the mail. It's insane. All right. So we've covered ideal vacation, and I think you're right. We should turn that into the group vacation. Similar question, but on a more day-to-day basis. What is your favorite place to read and why?
So I mostly only have time to read at night before I go to bed. So I love, and in my bedroom has all my like library of bookcases and all my books.
Oh, nice.
So I love curling up in there, kind of the little mood light on, all my books surrounding me, curl up on the pillows, and yeah,
nice.
Before I go to bed, usually. But yeah, that's where I feel at home. It's nice.
Very good. Awesome. I just realized that I just looked over my shoulder. I was looking at. Sorry, this is my daughter's pizza peel from her little, from her little toy kitchen is sticking out of the thing there. I was like looking at my background for a second and I was listening to you, but then my brain went like, what is the gray thing behind you, Virginia? I was like, I don't know. It's a toy. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, okay, so yes, your bedroom is the place you feel most at home and is a great place to read. That sounds lovely. Yep. I spend most of my time reading on the couch downstairs because I feel somewhat guilty. I have a Kindle Paperwhite for my reading and at night, which I love, but it does glow, and I feel bad about keeping other people awake with the glow. Yeah. But I don't think it actually bothers anybody.
Have you read anything since Horror of the Night that compares or has been as good or as fun or as interesting?
I've barely read anything since Horror of the Night, honestly. Like the last couple of weeks have been so busy to like look at my Kindle and see what have I read. I read Half a Soul, but that was before Harrow, I think, which is a Spiffbo 6 book, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I think maybe that was after Harrow. Quite good. Nice, like comfort and entertaining read. Yeah, and then I've been reading A Tale of Stars and Shadow, but I just started it, and so I cannot say much except that I've been enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. And I'm really I really meant to read it earlier, but it hasn't been that kind of week. I have now done this to just about everybody I've interviewed in the last couple months. Like, I had this great plan. I was like, everyone I interview, I'm going to read their book before I interview them. And I have at least read a part of everyone's book before I interview them, but I have not. There's no one who have been like, I'm sorry, I haven't picked up your book at all. But like, I have only, I've read anywhere between a handful of pages and a handful of chapters. on a few of them. And anyway, so I'm just bad. I'm bad at this. I fire myself. And then I hire myself back because there's no one else. So but no, I've been really enjoying Tale of Stars and Shadows. It's got a gripping start. And I'm curious to learn more about, but I've literally just met the two main characters and I still am just learning a little bit about Talon. I'm like, she is largely a mystery to me. I know that she's got a fast horse and rides well and can fire an arrow really fast. But and that she's very clearly heartbroken, and I totally get that. But yeah, I'm just at the beginning of the book, so yeah. But I'm excited. I'm excited to read more of it. And I was really hoping I had such high hopes to read so many indie books for September because it's self-published fantasy month, everyone. If you didn't already know, it's self-published fantasy month, and everyone should go check out the self-published fantasy month website, and go read a bunch of amazing books that have been recommended all over that site. You should definitely read Lisa's series. I've only just started and I already think it's great, so I don't know why you wouldn't read it, and it's done. So you don't even have to worry about, when's the next book coming out? They're all there. They're done. Go read the whole series right now. Do it. No, we'll wait.
It'll only take you about 16 hours.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Have you considered doing audiobooks for yours?
Yes, I'd love to, but it's the expense. They're so expensive to produce. At the moment, that money is going into advertising. So
yeah,
hopefully I can grow that enough to start building a budget, putting a budget together for audio, because I'd love to do audio.
Yeah. Have you considered crowdfunding audiobooks for them, or?
Not seriously, only because I feel like the amount of time and effort I would need to put in, I don't have that kind of time.
It's true, yeah. Crowdfunding is.
Learn the whole thing too. But yeah, it's definitely an option.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. That's it's been exciting to see audiobooks roll out for a lot of the other former Spiffo finalists and see them just kill it. It's so good.
It's Rob with Spark City, and then Miracle.
Fortune's Fool is out. So yeah, Spark City's out on audio. Fortune's Fool's out on audio. Sword of Kaigen is out on audio, and Blood of Airs is coming out in November, soon.
November, I think.
Could be, yeah. Could be November. I just included it in an email to my newsletter. You'd think that I'd remember, but yeah. I think they're all really good. Yes. They are all excellent. And so I still haven't read Spark City yet, but I started listening to the audio sample, and the actor's amazing, and it sounds really good. And so I might just listen to it instead of reading it. I haven't decided yet, but I'm excited to do that. And yeah. And then if I'm going to do that, I might as well get the audiobook for Fortune's Fool too while I'm at it. Because I haven't read Fortune's Fool yet either, but I've already read Sword of Kaigen, and I've already read Blood of Airs, both of which I loved. So yeah. I really don't think there were any bad books in Spiffo 5. Sorry. I've loved everyone that I've read so far. So.
Not agree more.
Yeah. Yeah, you've read all of them, haven't you? Yeah, I think you're the only one from our group who has actually read everybody else's. We have all been talking about the thing, and you just went ahead and did it. Lisa just quietly read everyone's books and liked them.
Well, to quote non-hat Rob, I had to read the competition and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Know what I was up against.
That was my original plan.
I'm never winning this thing.
I read Sword of Kaigen before we even started, before I submitted. And as soon as I saw that she submitted Sword of Kaigen, I was like, we're all going to lose. Sword of Kaigen is going to win this thing.
I read it going,
whatever, it'll be fun anyway. Yeah. So I totally, as soon as I saw Sword of Kaigen entered, I was like, it's going to win. it was such a good read. But to be fair, like every one of our books that I've read so far was freaking amazing. And like, yeah, I don't think it was actually, well, I kind of do think sort of Kagan blew us all out of the water. I feel bad. Like it was just an epically good book. It's one of those, I guess I felt as emotionally affected by Sword of Kaigen as I did by Harrow the Ninth. Like very different experiences, but as
Wow.
it felt like it affected me personally, you know. Yeah, and so and meanwhile, I think below below that really amazingly emotional experience, I have just enjoyed the heck out of every other Spiffbo book that I've read. I've been like, these are all good fantasy books. Like these are all like great. Like these are just really good, entertaining stories and told well. And I've just enjoyed all of them that I've read.
And they're all great in different ways. They're all kind of different types of fantasy.
Absolutely, books. Yeah. There's a huge variety of choice. So that's really cool. Yeah. But yeah, good on you for actually having read them all so far. Like, I mean, not like it's a personal sacrifice to do it because they're good books, like what you're just saying. But finding time to read them all, with, you know, and it's like you read a lot of books in addition to that too, right? I see you posting reviews all the time.
Yeah.
So
I try to fit it in.
Yeah. How many books do you read per year on average?
Normally it's about 4 or 5 a month.
Okay.
Depending on how much time I have.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So like 60-ish.
Yeah, it's like some books take quite a while to get into, and so I'll read them quite slowly at the beginning, and then once I'm hooked, I kind of just power through because I really want to know what's happening. So it just depends how quickly I get into a book as to how quickly I'll finish it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't consider myself a very fast reader, but I'm an intense reader when I get into a book. And so then it's like, I'm just not doing anything else. Corey's like, you read that so fast. It's like, I literally just read for 16 hours straight. Like I just barely stopped to go to the bathroom and eat. And I just read the book. And so it's not like I'm like, oh, I speed read. It's just like, no, I just don't. When I'm into a book, I just don't do anything else. Yeah. And I average that as well, I'd say, but like, because I read like 66 books last year according to Goodreads, and I try to record them all on Goodreads because otherwise I have no idea. And then this year, my goal for myself was like, okay, I'm going to read 70 books, and I've read 35 or 38, I think, so far. So I'm behind. But the thing is that I always like, I can do that. Like I'll catch up, you know, like December's a down month and I'll just read like another 30 books in December. Not quite, but I can read as long as I only have like 20 left in December, I can probably do it, you know, like, because I can read a book every 2 days if I've got time and I'm not doing it.
Time's the key factor.
Yeah. But well, good for you. Good for you with the reading. And okay, so now we've finally gotten to the official question, which is to tell me about your now completed series, A Tale of Stars and Shadow. So I mean, I say tell me about it. Like I know a little bit about it because I have started reading it. But what's your elevator pitch? What do you say so that if there are people watching who have not read anything by you, how do you want to sell them on A Tale of Stars and Shadow?
So I guess the quick version is it's epic fantasy. It has a pretty kick-ass female protagonist. The other protagonist is a shadowy criminal with kind of interesting motives. There's a motley crew of side characters. There's a bunch of political intrigue and a lot of cool magic. It's kind of the really quick version. Yeah, Talon, I mean, I've already mentioned Talon's very capable and extremely good at what she does, but she's also brokenhearted. She's emotionally just bereft after a tragic accident, and she feels a lot of guilt about that as well. So her character arc is throughout the series is kind of learning to live again after that kind of loss, and dealing with all the bad guys and whatnot happening around her and solving the mystery of what's going on. And the Shadowhawk, who's the other main character, is someone who's trying to do good, but in circumstances that completely shut down every attempt that he makes to try and do things. And it's kind of his stubborn persistence to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, while also managing his own kind of flaws, which he's a bit more of a secretive character, so no spoilers here. yeah, and then as with always with epic fantasy, it kind of blows out into a much larger problem, much larger antagonist, lots of different things happening.
Gotcha.
Some big battles and whatnot by the time you get to the end.
Epic. There you
Very
go. Well, it sounds really cool, and from what I've read so far, it is really cool. You mentioned Talon's character is dealing with grief and moving on, and we were talking about grief before we started this official chat. And I got the impression from the way you were talking about it that you had a personal experience with it. Do you want to talk about that at all and how that informed Talon's character, or not?
Sure. So I guess two sort of different things. So when I was in university, which is college, my best friend died just in his sleep overnight. And that was kind of, I guess, the first, grandparents and stuff had passed away when I was younger and that sort of thing. But that was kind of my first experience with real, like he was my best friend at the time. And that was devastating. So that kind of has always kind of lurked there in the back of my mind when I'm writing. And as you know, as being a writer, that's writing is your catharsis. It's the way you kind of grapple with things and play with them and kind of get stuff out. And then so Talon's loss is her best friend, her fighting partner, someone who was kind of always there at her back and is now not. And just imagining what that would be like, particularly with current friends, and the person it's kind of loosely based on is remembering kind of how that grief felt and how it still feels, but also imagining what that life would be like, or how just not only losing the person, but the kind of the life that you lived with that person in your life. It just changes how your world looks. So yes, that's kind of the inspiration for what Talon's going through and that sort of thing. And of course, there's dramatic license. There's parts of Talon that have nothing that are completely fabricated. But yeah, that's definitely part of
it. Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. Not that means anything. I feel like, but it's. I mean, I am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to go through that experience, because it sucks. But yeah, I feel like that's all I can say though. Is like, God, that really sounds like it sucked. I'm so sorry. I wish we could undo those things. But yeah. So I didn't realize prior to our conversation tonight that was a part of Talon's story, or a part of Talon's inspiration. Because I knew before, you've mentioned in other interviews and in our conversations and stuff that Talon is grieving and is getting over this thing, but because I hadn't read the book, I didn't even know what it was she was grieving specifically, and then we'd never had that come up in conversation. So yeah, I mean, I know how useless those words are, but for this teeny tiny bit of nothing it's worth, I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Chocolate?
If I wasn't allergic to dairy, I would totally.
Oh yeah. Oh, surely they make. Okay, good. Do they make non-dairy chocolate? I would assume like a coconut milk.
So, yeah, there's an Australian chocolate manufacturer called Hague's. They're like the best chocolate you could ever eat, like anyway. And their dark chocolate has no dairy. So yeah, I eat way too much Hague's dark chocolate in my life. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that you can still enjoy a form of chocolate that you love. I actually don't particularly like dark chocolate. I don't hate it, but I actually prefer milk chocolate. I'm weird. You think milk chocolate is better?
Yeah. Okay. Like if I could eat milk chocolate, that would be my choice.
All right. I'm surprised to hear that, because every time I open my mouth and say, I kind of prefer milk chocolate, everyone's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like,
no. Nothing is wrong. You are correct.
Oh, good. It's so nice to be right about something.
Correct.
We're right about coffee, right about the best vacation. Lisa, we clearly need to spend more time together.
I think we're soulmates.
Deal. We must be. Well, and Alicia and I are already the same person anyway. So clearly the three of us need to hang out. I guess I just need to move to Australia. That's the easiest fix.
Yeah,
I'm in the minority. Although, if Alicia's heading to the UK soon, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, good point. It'll just be me and Darian down here in the Southern
I
Hemisphere.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll be back and forth. We'll figure something out to keep our family together.
We're all allowed to fly internationally again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna make so much money off selling all of our books that we'll all just fly everywhere. And if one of us makes way more money than the other, that person can just bankroll everyone else's travel so we can all get together. Simple. Easy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, now that that's sorted. Okay, that's like I think we've pretty solidly. I can't imagine anyone is sitting here not wanting to buy your books yet. But if you are, again, go fix that. We'll wait. I'm kidding. We won't wait, but go. You can hit pause, so we will actually wait.
The first book in the series is 99 cents at the moment in the Kindle store.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot to mention that. I have posted that on multiple social media accounts already, including my newsletter. But yes, the first book is only 99 cents, so go forth and read it for the smallest investment ever, and then realize that it was worth way more than that, and then pay for all the other books. Obviously. I can't tell you how to live your life, but that's what I would do if I were you. It just seems like the right thing to do. Okay, so we've briefly sort of kind of talked about this, but I mean, I know that you're on to the next project already, but question 8 is what's next for you writing wise? So let's talk about it. What's the next project?
It's still a secret. So this is something I've actually written from scratch, brand new. I started it. One of those, as you would relate to this, but one of those kind of story ideas that starts simmering away in your brain, and then it doesn't let go, and it doesn't let go, and it doesn't let go until you start writing it. And initially it was just that, but it's kind of snowballed. And then the last couple of months I've just been kind of working almost non-stop on it. And it's going to be another kind of series, fantasy, probably 4 books at this stage. And I've kind of, being a pantser again, kind of getting to the point where I'm confident enough that it's done enough that I can, it's probably going to be, it will be the next thing I publish. So I've decided that it will be the next thing, probably early to mid next year. And that's all I'm saying about it for now.
The plot thickens. That's exciting.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm very excited. I think I won't say anything, but you've told us a bit more than that in our chat, haven't you? Or
Possibly.
not? I think you have.
I might have. Not a lot more, but
like a little bit, like a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but mom's the word. Okay, great.
Very exciting to be working on something new.
That is very exciting.
Because when you get to the end of a series, you kind of get not tired of it, but you're like, all right, I'm done with this story. I want to do something new. And then you get to dive into this whole new exciting world, particularly as a pantser, where you don't really know what's happening until you've written it. It's been a lot of fun.
I totally feel that.
Yeah.
When I finished Victoria Marmot, I actually went back to writing in Gensokai. So it wasn't a new world, but it was it was a new story with new characters, which was exciting. And it was kind of nice to go back to an older, familiar world in a way too. But part of me is also like, I'm now, as I'm getting closer to wrapping up this book, like I'm getting close to the end of the first draft, and then I already have, my brain has already started planning the revisions, so I kind of know how I'm going to fix it. But like, that's all moving forward. And I'm like, okay, and then once I'm done with that, I'm going to do this other thing that's like totally new. And my brain keeps wanting to do that. I'm like, no, you got to finish this first. But but I am kind of like, the pull to like go do something that I actually haven't written at all yet is very strong.
Yes.
And I think, that was what pulled me to writing the Victoria Marmot series to begin with. Like, I was working on, I finished up Trader's Hope, which is the sequel to Blade's Edge, and it was like, it's parts of it are really depressing, and the mindset I had to get into to write a few of those characters and their backstories was just like intense. So it was like, let's go write something fluffy and fun, like urban fantasy shenanigans, like and so that was the whole impetus for the Victoria Marmot series. And that was really fun. But by the time I got to the end of that series, I was like, okay, I just want to write something else. Like, but Yeah, the fatigue is real. It's like, even though I love the stories and I love the characters, and there's a bit of like a bittersweet, like not getting to play with them anymore is sort of like, oh, that's a bit sad. But of course, you can always write another story in that world if you want to.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
feel the need to go back and tell more, or short stories or prequels, or like you can go back and play in that sandbox if you want to. But yeah, the pull to do something new. And I'm also a pantser, so I definitely like the energy of like new and shiny. I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first like 3 chapters of my current work in progress were like, I had no idea what was happening. I didn't know who anyone was. I didn't know, like, I had nothing planned. I was like, this story is going to be set in Ginsokai. That is all I know. like I'd already made the world, and I knew it was going to be another story in that world, but it's like I knew nothing else, and I just.
But that's how it happens, right? Like, oh, I want to write a story about this thing that's going to happen. I don't know who the people are that it's going to happen to, or how they. This thing is cool, so let's start writing it.
Yeah, I had one character and one magical object, which it turns out is actually another character, and that was it. And that was how I started. And then all these other things happened, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Anyway, yeah. And now I'm worried I've bit off more than I can chew. Anyway, but that's a whole other piece. But the discovery is always so much fun. All right, fine. On to question number 9 then. Which maybe we've covered, because I did ask about, well, I don't know. I feel like pets and this question are different. But if you could be any fantasy animal, what would you be and why?
I'm going to go with dragon, because, I mean, it's kind of a boring choice, but you get to fly, which is cool. You get to breathe fire, which is even cooler. And like, you get to terrify everyone, like big, scary roar. You're pretty impressive. Like, you fly around the place and everyone's looking at you and how impressive you are.
You're huge. Yeah. Or you can be. I mean, I guess really with a dragon, you could be any size you want.
It depends. Yeah, it depends which kind of dragon more you're going with.
Yeah.
It could be the Game of Thrones style dragon where you kind of get bigger the older you get, and then you end up usually massive.
Yeah.
And if I couldn't be a dragon, it'd definitely be a werewolf.
Interesting. Okay.
Preferably the type of werewolf where it's not like agonizingly painful
on
the form to transform.
Yeah.
But wolves are my favorite animal overall. So
mine too. Okay, we're definitely.
We're definitely.
We got to spend more time together. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I would want to be a werewolf that actually turns into a wolf, not like half wolf, half man.
Not the fangs and the sideburns.
No, like that. As you said, painful. B, hideous. C, like, who wants to be human? If you're gonna be a wolf, be a wolf. Don't be like part wolf, part human. That's a bummer. It's losing out. Cool. I agree with that. Not that matters. If I didn't agree with your choice about what fantasy animal to be, but to be interested, like, I have asked this question of pretty much every person I've interviewed for QuaranCon Cubed, which is now like actually a lot of people, it turns out. And pretty much everyone has said dragon at some point. Like, if they've had a list, dragon has been on it, and if they haven't had a list, it's just been dragon. Which I get, because it's sort of like, if you're gonna go for fantasy creature, what else would you?
I mean, what's the downside of being a dragon, really?
Right, that's hard to come up with. It depends. I guess it depends on the kind of dragon, like which, what dragon what world are you setting yourself in as a dragon?
Yeah.
If it's in this one, you want to, sure, be a dragon and destroy everyone. If it's in one of the fictional realms where dragons are enslaved or something, then I guess you wouldn't want to do that. But, like, I don't know, do you want to be a dragon in the Dragon Riders of Pern, where you're sort of just like a horse? Wait, is that Pern, or is that the other one? There's like the Mercedes Lackeys series, and then there's the Anne McCaffrey series, and I can never remember which one.
It's been so long since I've read those, I can't even remember.
Same.
You definitely want to be in a world where, like, you are the master of your own destiny.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're smart, and you're eating humans if they annoy you. Really, I think that's the main thing that I want out of dragonhood, is I just want to breathe fire or eat people, like, just snap in half someone who bothers me. That is the thing I want out of Dragonhood, is the sort of insta-kill, and the idea that no one can do anything about it, right? Like, you just...
Who's going to come and kill you? Like, you're a drag. Yeah.
Like, try it. Give it your best shot.
Good luck.
Exactly. So yeah. So I don't know. Like, does that make it a boring choice that most people chose it? I don't know. It seems like the right choice.
Well, just argue the case that why wouldn't you want to be a drag?
Yeah. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? But like, it would be interesting though. Like, I think to answer the question differently, you would have to either come up with a new fantastical creature that didn't already exist and is somehow superior to dragons. Like, if you could make a black hole into a sentient, free-moving being, maybe you'd want to be a black hole. I mean, talk about destroying your enemies, right? Yep. But
this is a good plot point. I like this.
but how do you have a sentient black hole? Like, how does that even work? And then can it move? And then if so, how? And if it can't, you're sort of stuck. Although really, like, the whole universe comes to you.
Can you turn off its effects?
There's a what?
Can you turn off its effects? Turn it on, turn it off? Black hole on.
Maybe. How would, if it's, I mean, suddenly stop having mass?
Science breaks my brain.
I mean, if you could maybe make something up, so if like the black hole is in fact like at a point where parallel universes touch, that it could shift its mass into one universe rather than another, and thus stop its effects in the universe where it's no longer got its mass.
Yes. Maybe.
I mean, we're getting, like, we're trying to take a black hole and put it into a fantasy book. So, we can kind of do whatever we want, but with keeping something of what a black hole is like. Maybe it can send out an avatar.
Yes.
And so, although light literally cannot get past it, so I don't know how that works. Unless it's an energy, it's a gravitational wave. It sends a gravitational wave that can take on the appearance of something sentient. Okay. My brother, who actually studies this stuff and like a PhD in physics, is going to be like, you're ridiculous, Virginia.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Here's a question though. If you could have any magical ability of your choice, what would you pick?
If I could have any what?
Magical ability.
Any magical ability of my choice?
Or supernatural ability.
I mean, right now, coming from a place of grief, I would say time. I would love to be able to control time, just to go back and visit in time.
Like time traveling? Yeah.
Yeah, time travel.
Yeah. That would be very cool.
Yeah. That would be. But yeah. I might have a different answer under other circumstances, but now, yeah, time travel seems appealing. Not that I don't necessarily want to change time, but just be able to like go back in time and have more of it, sort of, in a way.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, let's see. So I have two more questions, but they're fluffy questions anyway. We've got a few things in the chat here, so let's take a look. Okay, we made Misty need coffee, but she's about to go to sleep. Oh, sorry, Misty. Cabin in the Woods might turn into the Cabin in the Woods actual horror movie, yeah. ACX with split royalties, also less money up front, says Magnus in response to the audiobook conundrum. Lisa, what say you?
Don't think that's available in Australia.
Really? No royalty split in Australia?
I don't think they do it. It's not available in Australia. I think it's only the US.
Hmm.
Last time I checked, anyway.
Is it worth poking one of the like? Does Find a Way Voices work in Australia?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Oh, but they don't do a split. They do upfront.
No.
Yeah. Gotcha. And what about like poking Podium and Tantor?
Write them an unsolicited email.
Just yeah, give it a shot. Seems to have worked for it. Works for some people. Okay, and Magnus also says you have a gravity controlling ability. I'm not sure what the response for you don't was, but I assume it has to do with the black hole. You have a gravity controlling ability.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Turn off gravity, turn on gravity, as you were saying.
Range gravity.
Arrange gravity?
Change
it. Sorry. I don't know. I need to turn my volume up higher. I keep not hearing you. And I don't know if it's like, because it feels to me like it's cutting out for a second, but put both earplugs in. That'll stop that. AF Stewart says, Find a Way Voices does have some sort of royalty split.
I shall have to look into that.
Yeah, I was reading their page like yesterday, and I thought they explicitly say that they don't have a royalty split, but I could be wrong. I probably am wrong because I don't actually have any experience with them. I've just read their FAQ. Magnus replies, yes, black hole. Yeah, obviously the black hole with the gravity. But sorry, I'm not making sense anymore. Basically, it sounds like people want your audiobooks, so you're going to have to sort that out, Lisa.
Yes, I'll
get on that.
Yeah,
I have actually just started recording the Blade's Edge audiobook in my friend's basement with like real recording studio setup, which is exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Yeah, but yeah, that's only fun if you enjoy voice acting. If that's not on your list of things to do, then that's not.
My voice acting.
It would be great. You'd be great. But yeah, it's definitely not everybody's thing, and it certainly would be. Oh gosh, if it wasn't fun, it would be such a slog, right? Like if that's not on your list of fun things to do, then
yeah.
That's a lot of hours to put in to be like, I don't like it. That wasn't fun. All right. Okay, so we'll get back to my questions. Sorry, Misty has a question. Is anyone participating in Norsevember?
What is Norsevember?
I just saw something about it today for the first time. Misty, if you want to answer in text what Norsevember is, that would be awesome. But in the meantime, for the 20-second delay, I will fill in with what little I know about it, which is that in November, people celebrate Norse mythology with like posting Norse stuff. I saw someone like be like, "Hey, does anybody have anything for Norsevember?" And then there was another post about Norse related mythology, like Norse mythology inspired books, fantasy books, and there's a list of those. And that we've now gotten into like 110% of what I know. I've started making things up. So so I'm hoping Misty can chime in soon.
And does Misty have any Norse inspired self-published book recommendations for self-published fantasy and Norsevember?
You're asking does she have it?
Noting a delay.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay. There's a 21-second delay or a 20-second delay. Also, Misty was about to go to bed and I saw this. Well, I think that was recent enough. She's probably there, but there will be a delay. She types as I speak. But yeah, so I did see. I don't actually know who posted it. This is the thing. Like I see things that shoot by my Twitter feed, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And so there was a list of books. It had Blood of Heirs on it.
Ooh, that's not quite.
Which I was like, Blood of Heirs is an excellent book. And so I would put it on any list just for shits and giggles. But it is, to my knowledge, not Norse inspired. But I could be wrong. I mean, like, I know it's very much Australia inspired, but part of it could be Norse, because let's be honest, like she does some cool stuff with you. Have you read book two? I was gonna say, and
no,
three.
Not yet.
Three's not done yet. Yeah, it's on my TBR too. And so, it's okay, sorry. Here, Misty's chiming in. Norsevember is an upcoming reading group where they read Norse fiction, i.e. Norse folklore-inspired books. Try saying that 10 times fast. Rick Riordan, Neil Gaiman, etc. And Misty's like, I'm still here. Yeah, sorry, Misty. What's Lisa's question? So your question was, did Misty make a list of? Yes.
Yeah. Any specific recommendations of good ones to read for Norsevember?
Yeah. So any indie recommendations? Because that'd be sweet. Yeah. Because certainly, like she mentioned, Neil Gaiman, who literally rewrote Norse mythology, which was great. I enjoyed it. And who incorporates it in his stuff often. But yeah, there are lots. I mean, I'm trying to think of indie things I've read that are Norse inspired. But maybe Misty has some suggestions. Apparently Fanfi Addict, I've never been sure which way it's supposed to go, is doing Norsevember stuff. Okay. And maybe he might be the one who posted the list of Norse inspired indie fantasy that I saw. But yes, I don't have any more information, and I'm sure Misty's listening and typing, but we are, again, 20 seconds ahead of her. So we'll check back in a second. Okay, she says, I helped suggest some books, but I don't know the final list. I know some indie books that were suggested. I know of some indie books that were suggested. I think Misty, Lisa's also asking just like if you personally wanted to shoot some suggestions at us now. That would be awesome. But basically, it sounds like that's a thing that's happening officially in November. And I'm not participating in it because I have not yet written anything officially inspired by Norse mythology. I'm always happy to throw a Norse god in wherever. And in fact, I have an unpublished book that I've written that has features Thor at least, and I can't remember if I threw in any other Norse gods, but how about you?
No. Norse inspired for me. No.
Fair enough. Yeah. Norse mythology is cool, but it's not hasn't been my focus yet.
Yes.
So many books left to write.
Yes.
So many books, little time. Oh, sorry. Missy says Blog Spells is hosting the event.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Misty. You're awesome. Thank you for being here and answering. Does anyone else? So folks who are watching, we've heard from AF Stewart and Magnus and Misty occasionally, and we still have people watching. Please, if you have any questions, now's a great time. I have 2 more questions left, and but I'll give you, while I'm asking and Lisa's answering those questions, that'll give you guys a couple minutes to write some questions of your own. So please, if you have any questions, now's a great time to shoot them to us. And I will do these last 2 questions with Lisa while we wait for your questions. Lisa, question number 10. Why is it so hard to stalk you on the internet? I really tried. And it was so easy with everyone else I interviewed to come up with content. Well, I say so easy. I was more work for some than others, but you made me work the hardest with like the fewest results. No, it's great. Honestly, I love that you're just like not all over the internet, because you don't have to be at all. But let's talk about that choice, because that's a thing.
Yep, I'm a mystery wrapped up in an enigma. The short answer is I'm not a natural sharer, so I guess it goes back to the whole introvert thing. Like, it's not my kind of impulse or instinct to kind of put stuff out there.
Totally.
And even the posting that I do for book stuff, like Facebook and Instagram primarily, like that's an effort. Like I have to actually think about that and proactively, deliberately do it. And it's not something like I instinctively go, hey, I'm going to post that or talk about that. Or it's just, that's just not me. So that's just part of the business side of things for me, doing the whole social media business. And then you guys know that I jumped off Twitter a couple months back just because it's basically a dumpster fire of horrible and people trashing each other and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's that. That's kind of the short and boring answer to that. But sorry, I made it so hard.
Don't actually apologize. It's not. Please don't. Yeah. There's nothing to apologize for. But no, I was just teasing because this is the avenue most easily open to me to do my research is like, okay, well, what can I find online? But there's like legit, you have this like one bio that's in a couple of different places. And I'm like, damn it, Lisa, I already knew that. I need things I didn't know already. Yeah. So, but yeah, no worries about that. I absolutely respect the lack of online presence. That's totally a legit choice and nothing to apologize about. Misty is saying things, so I'm gonna shoot over here and see. AF Stewart is participating in Northvember. I think she's got a short story with some Norse stuff. Misty says, I suggested an upcoming novel by debut author Tilda Cold Holt, Northern Wrath. John Gwynn's books are Norse inspired. Indie authors suggested for Northvember, because she found the tweet, A.E. Rain, Scott Odin, and Jamie Edmondson, Anthony Ryan, and Joanne E. Harris. So those are some recommendations. And if you check the chat, you can check those again later. I don't personally, my memory will not hold any of that for more than a couple of minutes, and I'll have to go back and look if I want to find it later. And T.L. Greylock also. Cool. Oh, also, yeah, she already said Rick Riordan, right? Way back at the start. So that's some recommendations for Northvember. And then, so again, folks, if you want to throw questions out, now's a great time. And I'm going to ask my final question of the official questions to really get behind your personality. What movie do you quote most often with friends?
I don't actually quote movies a lot, but I'm going to give you two, and they're on opposing ends of the spectrum. The first is going to be Star Wars. Largely because it was my first massive movie crush when I was like 13 or 14 or something.
Yeah.
And they're just like, everyone knows them. Everyone can quote from them. And the other one is, I guess, more generally Jane Austen, but specifically Pride and Prejudice.
Nice. Which version?
The BBC version.
Nice.
Version. Yeah.
I do love the BBC version. I love a lot of BBC miniseries. The BBC does a good miniseries.
Not agree more. Yeah. The movie is okay, but definitely.
You what? The movies?
The movie was okay.
Yeah.
But,
I like the movie versions, but it's like, I think the nice thing about a BBC miniseries is it's a good length for a book adaptation, right? You get like 6 hour-long, 2 hour-long episodes, whatever, and you're like, yeah, that was solid. That covered a lot of what I wanted to see.
Yes, you don't have to cut stuff out. You can use all the subject matter.
Yeah, totally. I think they actually do like the best job of adapting books. I really enjoyed that miniseries as well, the Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen miniseries. I also really like their Hornblower miniseries. Did you ever watch the?
No, I haven't. I would like to. It's kind of been on the back of my list to watch forever, but I've never actually gotten around to it. But
it's on YouTube. So
on YouTube.
Yeah, you can totally watch it for free. But yeah, I found that part of it now is nostalgia because it was a show, like my dad loved the Hornblower series, the books, and then we watched the BBC series together, and that was like it was like one of his favorite things. He actually also really loved Pride and Prejudice. Like he was a total sap. He was a total romantic. Like he loved rom-coms and he loved, but he also loved Pride and Prejudice. It was like that was I think to him, like the original rom-com, even though it's, not that comedy-esque, but just like it's like he loves that story.
My dad's the he pretends like he doesn't, but he loves Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. My dad he didn't even pretend that he didn't. He just loved goofy romances. It was his favorite thing. It was great. I don't say goofy, not goofy. Serious sometimes, and sometimes he did also loved goofy romances, but he just loved romance in general. And the Hornblower series, he really loved. He loved the Hornblower series. I think he also read the Master and Commander series. I know I read the entire Master and Commander series. Although maybe he didn't. I don't know. Anyway, but he loved the Hornblower series, and he liked a lot of old naval stuff. I tried to get him to read Her Majesty's Dragons, the Naomi Novik series, with because I was like, if you're gonna I know you don't particularly like fantasy, Dad, but if you're gonna read fantasy, this is the Napoleonic Wars, but with dragons, and you love the Napoleonic Wars, you should love this. But I think he I don't know if he even read it. I gave it to him for Christmas once, and he was like, he just wanted his boats. But they had the ships are there at the start. All right, so we have a couple more comments. Which is more names of suggestions from Misty, and she says, I had to look the names up. I didn't remember them. I won't remember them. Yeah, we won't remember them either. And Alicia's books are on the list too. And A.F. Stewart agrees that she loved the Hornblower miniseries.
All right.
And is part of the inspiration for her trilogy. So that's cool. And if anyone also loved the Hornblower miniseries and also loves fantasy, I haven't read A.F. Stewart's books. I bet they're great, and they are also inspired by that. But I have read R.J. Barker's The Bone Ships, and it is awesome.
Oh, I've seen that. So I think that's on my TBR. Yeah.
So good. So good. Jump it up. That was, I am so excited. I think the book 2 comes out in the next couple months here. It's definitely fall. I can't remember if it's October or November, but it's coming up soon. And I am really excited to read book 2, and then book 3 is coming out next year sometime. It's already written and done and with his editors and stuff, but it's it's trad, they take a long time to
get so long.
So I know, so long.
Yeah.
All that lead time. Well, that's how they get all those awesome reviews up and stuff. It's they've got their process. They've got their system. It works for them. So Misty says November. She also loved that. Levi is here to heckle. Hey, Levi.
Hey.
So well, Levi, you come on, man. You just got here, and we need some heckling. We need questions, Levi. Come up with good questions and come up with them right now.
And then tell us about your cherries.
Yeah. Then tell us about your cherries, and tell us about, are you home, man? Are you safe? I want to just get Levi up on video and bring him in. It's Levi. No, I'm kidding. But I'm going to give him a few seconds to come up with a question. One question, Levi. Make it a good one. I'm not going to distract anyone. I'm going to try to ask Lisa other stuff while we wait for you to come up with one good question. What was the last, you asked me about good books that I've read since Harrow. What have you read since Harrow that's been either mind-blowing or just a really good read?
Nothing has been anywhere near as good, because you're always going to kind of slump after you read a really amazing book. Yeah. But I did just finish reading Seven Devils, which I got in my Illumicrate book box last month.
Oh, cool.
And it's a sci-fi soap opera. The entire leading cast is kind of kick-ass female women. And it was a really fun read. I really enjoyed it. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, mostly it's fantasy, but it was really good. So I recommend it. It's just a fun kind of adventure tale with some really great characters. So it kind of eased the pain of finishing Harrow and then going, I want a Lecto right now.
Right? Come on. Yeah. I also want a Lecto right now. I don't know if she's written it yet, or if it's, I think it's slated. Is it slated for next year or 2022? I think it's 2022.
What?
I think, I don't know. Don't listen to me. We'll check later. Okay, Levi. Levi says, my excuse is children. for the moment, and safe, yay. Pros, what is the coolest thing about your shiny new work in progress? But yeah, so
Levi, I'm not giving out any spoilers about my new work in progress. But the coolest thing about it is it's a little bit different to some stuff I've done before. So it's a bit darker. The protagonist is a little bit more grey than my protagonist in previous series would be pretty much entirely hero-like. This one is not. And that's been so much fun.
That's cool.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, so and I assume Levi's going to reply to that, but it'll take 20 seconds, so whatever. Awesome. So I'm excited by great characters. Great. I am always sorely tempted to write, like, you know, really cool villains, and then but then when I do that, I wind up inadvertently making them non-villains.
Yes.
I need to work on it. Like, I want to write one of those characters who's like truly committed to doing bad things.
Yeah.
And yet has an interesting backstory that gives them compelling reasons for doing that, and yet doesn't get better. Like, and that's the part I struggle with, is like, as soon as I start giving them a convincing backstory that's like, oh yeah, I feel for that person, then it's like, oh, I feel for them, and oh look, they're getting nicer. Like, damn it, no.
I'm also like a sucker for redemption arc. So the minute I start creating that bad character, I'm like, oh, but they could get good and they could redeem themselves. No. They have to be the villain.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wind up like Blade's Edge, has bad guys that are just kind of like bureaucratic bad guys, because that was the easiest way for me to be like, no, they're gonna stay bad because they just believe in the system that exists. And that's it's an easy, like, it's a very realistic evil.
Yeah.
And it also, you know, and then it doesn't, you're not tempted to like turn them into more relatable people because they're just bureaucrats, right? But it, you know, it like that falls flat for some people because they want the more engaging villain, which I get, and I totally like, I want the more engaging villain too, but I just like it. But every time I start to write the engaging villain, they turn good on me. So yeah, like yeah, what are you gonna do? So do you think this morally gray character, I mean, they're gray, but they're not a villain. They just are dubious.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, due to circumstance and other things, very. Yeah.
Okay. Is it
right?
Are they going to continue to be morally gray, or do you think they're going to turn full on?
No. I think they're going to pretty much remain who they are. I guess the tension will be whether they try and go down one path or the other.
Right. Okay. But they're gonna
try and kind of do better things, or kind of embrace the darker side. Not to twist up. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Excellent. And Levi says that he seconds or not seconds. No, he says, I love the morally gray and grit. Love the gray and grit. He said, sorry, that's what he actually said. Swiping to read.
Really fun.
There's a what?
That's really fun to write. More so than a good character, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, like, writing a character who's willing to just like be really rude to people is sometimes very fun. For one example, like there are a lot of other things.
That's how I really like to talk to people. Some people. I'm going to write it in my book.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. I'm going to take revenge by writing this excellent witty retort into my novel. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, we're at exactly the 1.5 hour mark, and oh my goodness, this may be the first time that I've actually ever like come close to ending reasonably on time. Not the first time, but the first time in a while. Like, I started, I was like, yeah, 90 minutes should be good, and then spanned into like 2 hours, and then it's like, no, reel it back, and I did not succeed in general. But you have done beautifully. You've stayed very on topic, and that has been great, because I am the worst at that. All right, well, holy crap, Lisa! I like, congratulations again. Like, having a series done is just amazing, and and yay on the BookBub, and yay on just like I hope all these books just go flying out the doors. Everyone watching should buy them. And while you're at it, just buy her other series too, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? It's gonna be good, guys. Come on, let's be honest. Like you're gonna like it. You might as well give in. And but yeah, thank you so much for coming to talk to me on your book launch day. Like, woohoo!
Thank you.
I appreciate
It's a lot of fun to chat with you.
I always enjoy chatting with you, but you know, I worry that I'm not always as fun to chat with as
No, not at all. No.
But yeah, thanks so much for coming and talking and answering my really weird questions, or not even that weird, but just sort of random. I'm really glad to know that we are coffee buddies, and really basically we just have an insane amount in common based off of these questions. Obviously I'll have to come up with another questionnaire and we'll see how we do. the next time you finish a series and we decide to chat in front of everyone publicly. And Misty says this was a fun live stream. Magnus says both of the books are $1. You might as well give it a go. Yes, Magnus, you make an excellent point. And Misty also says thank you for doing this. Thank you to everyone for being here. Really appreciate having all of you show up to watch and ask questions and comment. And everyone should remember that if you know, as it gets chillier in this hemisphere, go get yourselves a nice hoodie that says CornCon on it. Or, you know what, there are t-shirts and tank tops and stuff as well. So if you want to go get one of those instead, all of that, we've got a little minion here. All of that goes into paying for this Zoom account, which I use to interview people. It's really that, and our website is our sort of the only expenses. We're not officially a not-for-profit. We're just a non-business that is just costing me money. So if you want to contribute to help out, please go ahead and buy some merch or throw money at our coffee account. And thank everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, the point of CornCon continuing content is to keep everybody entertained in our lockdown times, as we are spending less time out and about because of COVID. Just, you know, give you something to do at home. So thanks again. Also the link to Tale of Stars and Shadows is in the description to this video. Make sure you click on it. Go pick up the first book for 99 cents, pick up the first book of the other series for 99 cents, and have yourself a great weekend with that. So that's it. AF also says that it was a great chat, and Levi says that it was lovely to sit in on this. Yeah, you were here for 5 seconds, Levi.
Great.
But sorry, we love you, Levi. And thank you everybody again, and we will see you next time. And actually, I don't have anybody lined up for the next interview yet. Except I am, CornCon is joining up with Asian Fantasy Books and Fantasy Faction to bring to everyone an interview with Fonda Lee, Andrea Stewart, and K.S. Villoso, hosted by JC Kong and myself. I am really just wanting to be a fly on the wall, but it sounds like maybe I will get to actually talk to people, which is just awesome. And that is going to be happening, it looks like, next Friday. We don't have an official date and time pinned down just yet, but we'll keep an eye out for that. I will be posting about it. JC Kong will be posting about it, and presumably Fantasy Faction will also mention it at some point. So keep your eye out for that. That's the next thing coming. After that, I'm sort of taking a little hiatus from interviews for a bit in order to focus on writing for a little while. But once that's over, I'll let everyone know when we're doing the next thing and what that'll be. So again, thank you. That's my totally long ramble to close things. We'll see you next time.